You've put in all of that hard work to get your home live and listed for sale. You mulched and got the yard looking awesome. You cleaned, decluttered, and depersonalized and hardly recognized this place you're still calling home. Now what? Welcome to the next phase in the process of selling a house. I'm Almond with the Walker Hall Group, and welcome to our channel. While you're here, give us that big thumbs up so we know this is helpful, and remember to click the subscribe button and that little bell next to it so you can get notified when we add new content every single week. Now let's dive into what's next. From our last video, our traditional and digital marketing strategies are in place. Your listing is live and it's time for showings. At the Walker Hall Group, we use an app called ShowingTime. It's interactive with you as the seller, and we'll work together with you to make a showing schedule. In the first week, I recommend being ultra flexible and letting showings happen any time of the week. After the first week, things usually start to calm down a little, or we can set a showing schedule to help maintain and manage life. This, next to staging, is the hardest part of selling a home. But this part is critical. This is where we are trying to match the emotion that people felt from liking the home online to loving it just the same, if not more, in person. Here are a few expectations for showing your home. A, turn on all of the lights and open all of the shutters, drapes, and blinds. Lighting in a home makes it feel warm and inviting from the first minute you walk in. It makes it easy for people to walk from room to room, soaking up the experience rather than hunting for light switches in the dark. B, neutralize smells. I would put this up there with depersonalizing your home. If you love fresh coffee in the morning or strong spices and onions in your meals, it might not sit well with potential buyers. Open some windows first thing in the morning and spray some Febreze. If you have the urge to bake something for the sale, bake bread or cookies. Those are universally accepted scents. It's also okay to have lightly scented air fresheners like plugins. Again, scents like apple, vanilla, and cinnamon are great. Light a candle on the kitchen counter for ambiance, but not more than one. You don't want to lead people into thinking you're covering something up. C, leave the house. This means every kid, teenager, adult, and pet. It's easy to think that it'll be helpful if you stay and offer a private tour or tell everyone the hidden gems of the house, or that you'll just stay in the corner and not be bothersome. This just isn't the case. People like to come and look freely and ask questions. They will live differently than you and want to feel like they can really look and try to picture themselves with their furniture in the home comfortably. How they feel on the first showing will determine if they make an offer or come back for a second look. You've worked hard to get the home to this point. Don't kill the mood by being home. Well, all of the leaving house has paid off and we have an offer. I will pause here to say, if we have 10 showings or 10 days without an offer, we'll have a conversation about feedback and next steps to work towards to get an offer. But back to what's next in the process of selling a house is receiving an offer. I could spend an hour on offers and negotiating, but I'll try to keep it short. I'm going to say that 80% of the value I add in helping my clients sell a home is in the negotiation and communication phase. A couple of things I always consider are, 1, what are the highest needs of both the buyer and seller? Let's see if we can give and take to accomplish the needs of everyone involved. Sometimes this is price, sometimes this is timing or a leaseback, sometimes this is in the inspection, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Second, external circumstances at the time of the offer. These are things like how many other homes are for sale, is there new construction in the area, how long have we been on the market? These are also conversations we've already had leading up to listing the home. All of these factors combined with effective communication will play into the smoothness of negotiations and sale overall. Once everything is agreed on, we'll officially be under contract and we can stop showing the home. Hey there, are you liking this video? Remember to give us that big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you can be a part of our family. And ring that little bell so that you can get notified every time we post new videos. Okay, back to the show. Third, in phase 2 of our process of selling a home is the inspection. You've had a couple of days to stay home and cook your favorite foods again. The inspection is an option the buyer has during the due diligence period, and we need to accommodate them. The inspection typically takes place 2 to 7 days within going under contract, lasts 4 to 6 hours depending on the size of the home, and you'll want to plan to be out of the house for this. Follow all of the suggestions for showing the home by turning on all of the lights and tidying up. The inspector will arrive and inspect all of the major systems and components of the home. Things like the roof, foundation, the exterior of the house itself, the grading, the electrical, the HVAC, the plumbing, the attic or crawl spaces, the toilets, the dishwasher, and lots of other small items. He'll make a comprehensive report and do a walkthrough of his findings with the buyers. What can you as the seller expect from the inspection? Requests. Round 2 of negotiations usually happens after the inspection. Knowing this, we won't go all in negotiating round 1 because you'll want to leave some room to offer concessions in the inspection. There are always concessions. Buyers can ask for concessions in the form of having you as the seller fix things, having a professional in the specific items category do the fixes like a plumber or electrician, or negotiating money toward the buyer's closing costs or off of the purchase price of the home to compensate for the agreeable items. Here's an example from a listing I just had. In this situation, we had multiple offers, and so we only negotiated $1,500 toward the buyer's closing costs up front. After the inspection, there were several items the buyer requested and a fairly large amount. Things like painting the soffit and fascia, installing safety eyes on the garage door opener, a radon mitigation system, and several cosmetic things that, by the way, the contract says the home is sold as is for cosmetic items. The buyer asked for an additional $1,500 towards closing costs and a $5,000 price reduction, a total of $6,500 in this request. Now, a couple of things impacted this negotiation. 1, we looked at what the safety requests were. 2, the seller didn't want to do any work himself or coordinate the work to be done. And 3, we had a backup offer already in place. Not a guarantee that the second buyer wouldn't ask for the same thing, but it's still on the table. We offered back to the buyer $3,000 in consideration for the safety items, and they accepted. Many agents would have opted to accept the concessions just to keep the sale moving forward. Who you work with and have in your court matters. We communicated, we evaluated, and we negotiated. 4th, the next big hurdle is going to be the appraisal. The appraisal usually happens in the first 2 weeks of being under contract, and you can plan on the appointment lasting about an hour. You know the drill here. Spiff up the house, turn on all the lights, freshen the air. The appraisal is critical because it determines if we'll get the contract price. If the appraiser doesn't see the value, we'll be back into negotiating the price. Now don't worry, we've done our homework. We've watched the area and done an excellent job of getting the house ready to this point. So a low appraisal doesn't happen very often, but let me repeat that this is not the time to let your hair down and not make the house show ready. If there was ever a time to make it perfect, this is it. It usually takes about 5 days for the appraisal to come back, and as the seller, we'll usually only find out what the appraisal came in at value. But at value are the 2 most magical words and all we need to hear to keep moving forward. Finally, the end is in sight. After the appraisal, the final steps in the process of selling a home are packing, the final walkthrough, signing, and then funding and recording. You've probably already started packing the things you can live without. Now it's time for the rest to go in boxes and bins. While you're packing, I'll be checking in with the lender and the buyer's agent to make sure everything is on track for a smooth and on-time close. This last couple of weeks before closing will be busy, while at the same time may feel like the days are slow. You know we're close when it's time for the buyer's final walkthrough. This contractually happens within 7 days of closing, but typically happens within 3 days of closing. This is where the buyers will walk through the home to make sure any negotiated repairs are completed and that the home is the same as when the contract was negotiated. Be careful when you're moving not to damage and scuff the floors and walls. Make sure any items agreed on will stay in the home and the place is broom swept clean for the buyers to get keys. We'll schedule signing at the title company and be ready to hand over keys 24 to 48 hours after signing. when all of the monies are transferred and the title is officially recorded in the buyer's name. This is referred to as funding and recording, and it is the final piece. Congratulations! You've officially sold your home. Now remember, this was a big general outline of the process. There are lots of little steps in each of these sections, things to watch for and be aware of, and documents like property disclosures and lead disclosures, and every property and sale is different. I can't reiterate enough that who you work with matters. Communication is a key part to a smooth home sale. If you're looking for a smooth transaction and expert guidance, call us. We offer a free consultation. At the Walker Hall Group, we help our clients buy with confidence and sell with success.